Hey, Nick.
Yeah, what's up, Bill? Can you see us?
Hey, buddy. Now I can see you.
Sorry, there we go. All right, one sec. Let me, is there volume on the TV? Or is it remote?
Right here.
Oh, sorry. Bill, can you talk real quick?
I sure can.
All right, I got you on that.
Good afternoon.
You guys hear me?
It's coming out of the computer still for some reason.
Oh, computer audio.
Is it matching the computer?
So,
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Just talk loud, Bill.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3.
never mind.
Change the audio source.
Can you hear me now?
You see the TV?
Actually through the Zoom, yeah. So there it should give you the option to kind of switch it to output of the.
Before you change it, turn it down. You got it up on max.
That's fine.
I got you.
There we go.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3.
All right, cool. We're good.
All right. Good afternoon. How we doing? All right. Looks like a packed house there. So do we want a little introduction there, Chris, or how do you want to get started here? I can jump right in it and say hello, or you can say hello, introduction.
Feel free to jump right in. I told them that you handle all our social media for advisors and that, you know, work with them to set up their or enhance their social media platform if they have one or you know, want to.
Excellent. Very good, Chris. Okay, great. And Nick, thank you very much for setting this up on your end. Over the last 13 months, we've all adjusted to how we conduct and do our business. And this is just one example of something that we're taking into the future with technology. Enables me to do more meetings and be more productive than I was running around 2-hour commutes or whatever they may have been. So I've been doing a lot of these presentations and I appreciate the opportunity to, I'll literally just say be here. So with that said, basically what we're talking about is making the difference between the old social media and kids, cats, and dogs, the way we used to treat personal pages, to actually producing a business page that organically is structured to create and close organic leads, transactions. And that's the big picture. I think we're all done. If anybody's in the past paid for their Zillow leads or any other leads, the chances of you closing those versus, you know, all the other people they were sold to is pretty slim and none. But when you look at the closing ratio or conversion ratio of working with your friends, family, and friends, family of theirs, in other words, your social contacts, there's a greater conversion rate when having the opportunity to contact somebody who may have just downloaded a home buyer's guide that you provided, or a seller's guide, or even an instant home value. So the idea, and I'm going to get into the presentation with examples, is to provide in this environment as much branded content and resources as possible. Because the more you present to your prospects what they're looking for, the less time they're going to spend looking online for it, which keeps other people away from snagging up your potential buyer or seller. Does that make sense? That come over okay? Everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. With that said, let's move forward a little bit. So again, thank you very much, Chris, for the opportunity to be here. Zoom meetings is now somewhat of the norm. With what we're going to discuss today is that in order to make this concept work, and it's actually 12 years in the making. This isn't something that's just come to the table in the last couple of months or the last couple of years. For 12 years, I've been involved with enhancing or creating social marketing that truly brings closings and not just click-throughs and conversions and all this jargon that doesn't put money in your pocket. What we're looking to do is truly connect with people that need your resources and services. So with that said, in order to do that, in the big picture, what we're trying to do is work with content that is resourceful, informational, and appealing to where people will engage with what you're trying to promote. So here we are today. We've got a digital marketing toolbox. And the reason I call it a digital marketing toolbox is because in order to make all of this come true, we look at different resources to collaborate this content so that it comes off stupid simple, but in a very streamlined manner. Before we get into the next step, I just want you to think about, and I won't ask how many people to raise their hand or any of that stuff right now, but think to yourselves, how many people, when they work with their buyers and sellers, actually use their website as a tool with the resources that you have at your website to help that transaction? And there should be some people in the audience that would say, yes, there we go, I see a hand. And that's a good thing, because if I go into some presentations and nobody raises their hand, you can imagine how difficult this presentation is going to be if there isn't any acknowledgement that your website to start with your IDX, your home search, your buyers and sellers resources, if you don't see a value there and you're not sharing it or directing your clients to those resources, then working in a social environment is almost a waste of time unless you're just going to post pretty pictures. So the idea is to build these Facebook business pages. And again, one of the questions I would have asked in the audience is how many people, of course, have personal sites, and most people would raise their hand. And then you think of how many contacts you have, whether it's 100 or whether it's 500 or 1,000 or more. And you know somebody out there in that group is buying or selling a home or wants to. So those are the kind of people that you want to be top of mind. And when it comes to posting, to be top of mind is one thing, but to prospect is another. And I'll probably say it a couple times today, but to post without prospecting is a waste of time. Okay, so we'll see more examples of what I mean by that. These are examples that show you what a business page can look like. And the site to see this presentation, if you want to jot one thing down today, and the good news is this is recorded and available for you in the next 48 hours with all these notes. So you don't have to take too many notes of where I'm going and what I'm doing, because this will be available to you. But marketingwithadvisors.com is where this presentation is at, online 24/7. There's like 30 slides here. We're going to go over 3 or 4 of them today, but there's a bunch of resources in here. So as you go through the slides, you're going to see that all of these people all have their business page, Facebook business pages set up, and every one of them have in common that each one brings in or aligns itself with the click-throughs to the resources at their website. And that's the most important thing that you get out of today is, again, what resources do we have to share with the social world when we're trying to stay top of mind and convert those potential buyers and sellers that are actually maybe friends or family or their friends and family. The idea is, how do we stay top of mind? How do we present content that's appealing and that's informative? Well, to start with, your biggest one is your home search. Now, for all those people that have a business page, I'd like to know if there's anybody at this point who can raise their hand that has a direct link within their platform, whether it be a banner, whether it be the new shop now, that actually click-throughs directly to your IDX of your website. Because that's the first thing, and it's free. And if nobody raised their hand, everybody should be writing that down that has a business page, because the first thing that you want to address is your shop now option, which is in your, it's located in the right-hand corner of your page. Right now, you may have the default where it says contact me, or you may have something, but the idea is you want to set up the direct link to where it's shop now. And that's an important one. The layout of the page, and if anybody has any questions, please just raise your hand or say hello. It's an open forum here. So number one, the layout of these banners. And I say banners because, again, if anybody has a business page out there, I doubt that they've structured themselves with the new carousel ad banner format? And if you have, that's wonderful. If you haven't, that's why we're here today. Each one represents a way that we can set up the banners to have functionality with direct click-throughs to resources. And that's where we're tying in your website to your online presence and social. So as we talked about the first one, the IDX for home search, click here to search all properties. We're talking about, again, she's all out in a bag of chips. Click here to begin your search process. So that brings up her personal website with her personal resources. And we're going to get into what kind of resources we can promote out of that website, because to me, every one of them is like a golden nugget that I'm trying to present onto the timeline to, again, engage people into our resources. This one is a real big one. I don't know if anybody in the audience has a platform for an instant home value. I'm sure all of you will cringe when you think instant home value and Zillow, but if you don't sell with it instead of against it, then you're just sort of spinning your wheels, because people are going to go there anyway, whether they're a buyer or a seller, to an online format for an instant home value. The benefit of having your own branded one or sharing the loan officer's one is that you can be in an environment where we can get an instant home value. In fact, 3 of them. Why don't we do a demo here to show you how the platform works? Does somebody have a property in mind that you just closed on? Or
06 Pine Tree Drive in Parlin.
okay, let me get you right there. McLennan Advisors. Mortgage.com. Okay, what's the address?
106 Pine Tree,
Pine Street.
Pine Tree, one
Pine
word,
Tree.
2 words or 1? Pine Tree Road,
Pine Tree Drive
Pine Tree Drive.
in Parlin,
In where?
Parlin.
P is in Paul.
ARLIN.
RLIN.
Carlin.
Oh, Carlin. C.
No, Carlin. PARLIN.
Okay, sorry. There it is. It's a little muffled. Okay, so what I want you to think about, what value has that property just closed, or did you just list it?
Trying to list it.
Okay. And basically it's going to ask you a couple of questions about what county is you in, and for mortgage purposes, because this is an example that we do on the mortgage side, there's your value. So what value did you have in mind for that property?
I can't see. What does the value say?
No, what value do you have in mind? What did you list it for?
I suggested 350.
350? Okay, great. As you can see here, that means you're probably in a nice solid neighborhood where people were upgrades that have taken care of their property and done some new additions or upgrading. You're in that high 3 mid-range. And those that need the work, you've got the comps to represent that you can do the increased value with the kitchen or bath remodel or whatever. So anyway, this is a way of having a conversation with somebody with an instant value. And then you can say, of course, it's only an electronic value. It's not real. The bank sold property around the corner is making it look worse. But that's the inside track as a realtor that you'll be able to help them with. What I'm trying to show you is that people want the functionality of instant resources. Does that make sense? Are we good there? Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. All right. So that's basically her instant home value. What happened now is that the phone just went off with that lead with the information from the organic friends and family or whatever contact came from that social environment, from somebody with their name, telephone number, email address, etc. Not a paid lead, somebody we're going to be able to convert. Could be Brother Joe or Sister Sue, who knows? So when it comes to content, and this is the big one, and I don't know if anybody in the audience is familiar with Keeping Current Matters, but they might be or should be. Anybody ever hear that before? No? Okay. Keeping Current Matters is a #1 resource for online content that is stupid, simple, streamlined to promote your online services with. And they do everything basically for you. I set you up that it's all branded and connected to you. And then they, on a default basis, will update your home buying guide, your selling guides on a seasonal basis, and provide you with videos, blogs, all personalized to you. Now, this platform that you're looking at that we just left Facebook in order to download a home buying guide is, again, the little mousetrap that we're talking about. The last one was the home value. In this case, I'm going to put in my name and I'm going to want to download the home buying guide. So here's her platform with her marketing. Her phone's going to go right. Her phone's going to go off, but she'll know this is a test because of who it's coming from. And in return, the prospect gets to do what? Wait for you to send an email with a PDF attached? No. They click download and they get their seasonal home buying guide or home seller's guide. And these come out every season and they have a default of wonderful, wonderful clues on the process. It's not a geographical thing. It's just a generic across the country. And it really fine tunes into what we're going through each season. And as you go through this, you'll study it, because when you have somebody, while you're driving down the road, download your home buying guide, you can take them to a specific slide and say, you know what, slide number 10 is going to talk about the power of interest rates and the way your payment goes up if rates go up. We're going to talk about some loose terms here you're going to be running into as we go through the process. In the process of the path to home ownership is what we're going to go through together, and probably several times in this line of a bidding war in a seller's market. So you might have to go over step 3 and 4 a couple times, or 4 and 5. You get my idea. But anyway, this whole home buying guide is always branded specifically to the loan officer or the realtor. And that way it's all about you. Everything that we do has to be all about you. And the good news is 5 years ago, a little bit ago or so, a lot of people went away from the company websites because they were really all about the company or the office. And nowadays, fortunately, if you look at your website, your online resources, home buying guide or resources or any extra things are in your website, they're all going to have your branding to it. It's all going to have your name in it, which means you're not losing your customer. In the past, websites used to utilize an office resource landing page versus independent. And it's so important because you don't want to send your potential client to an environment where they're going to start working with someone else. So that's number one rule when you're setting up click-throughs and posting. So this platform right here is her public platform that's accessible from her website, or it can be directly sent as a click-through with an email. But each morning she comes into this platform and she can take less than 30 seconds over a cup of coffee and post all this great material that's every day updated. Yeah. Either be blogs, or we can get into videos, or again, the home buying and selling guides. And all these videos are incredible in that they're a simple message, less than 60 seconds or so. But the key thing about them is that each one's, again, personalized at the end with all your information. And you don't have to do the same thing that your fellow worker is doing. If you go into the library here and we want to work with FSBOs this week on our drip campaign, then I'm going to pick up FSBOs and focus on them for listings. And then we've got beautiful infographics to work from. We've got another infographic to work from. Why selling a house on your own in 21 is a mistake. You simply click on the title and you want to share this to your page. Now, I'm logged in right now as Chris. So let's use Chris as an example. We're going to go to Chris and we're going to pretend we're Chris making a post this morning. So basically, if we go to Chris and we go to his platform, because I'm logged into him as Facebook. So we're going to go to his platform. And let's see what we got here. We got home prices appreciated, simple supply and demand. That's really a big trigger button right now. There's a lot of things that are really buzzwords like bidding wars, supply and demand, of course, the seller's market, all that good stuff. And people are somewhat concerned about that because of appreciation in the old bubble routine. But as we have low inventory, it seems to be sustaining. So if we wanted to share this article, the easiest thing you need to do, you don't have to go into this whole article and figure out what to say about it. In fact, this one's got a lot going on and maybe not the most stupid, simple message. So I like to look through and attract the easy peasy ones. Home prices appreciated, simple demand. So we've got this one. Okay, that talks about across the country. And then I want to get into something that's a little bit more simple of a statement. Today's listing prices are like auctions. That's a good one. That's a bidding war on that concept. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the title. And when I said over a cup of coffee, you're not going to spend a bunch of time doing this. You are going to spend time in prospect. Actually, that's the same one. Hold on, I'm sorry. Come down here. Well, you may want to cash out your second home. That's nice. Again, going after a listing while you want to cash in on your second home. So in other words, move up buyers. Now's the time to sell and move up. Dream of a bigger home. This is huge right now. The direction of people right now, for many reasons, it could be the in-laws have to maybe moving in and doing, multi-generational home life. That's a big trend right now. People are moving up into bigger homes and they're getting more for their money, et cetera. But if we wanted to share this post, we simply go to the bottom line. I don't have to create anything. They pay big money to people to write this stuff. And you're simply going to click share to Facebook. When I say over a cup of coffee, 30 seconds, when you get into this, it's all it's going to take. But just remember that you never want to share to your personal world first. You always want to share to a page you manage, which is your business page. Now that's so important because when you then share this as an author from your business page to your personal world, and you're sharing it to your friends at that point, when they share it, they're sharing you as the author from your business page, not your personal page. So that's really important because you want to drive traffic to your business page. So we're done with that. All we're going to do is post it. And when I say we're done with that, we're done with the mechanics of posting it. We're not done with the actual campaign in that when I opened up with it's a waste of time to post. Yeah, it may keep you top of mind, but if you're not prospecting, or if there's some old school people in the audience asking for the business, we want to turn this into a great little top of mind campaign that's attracting potential buyers and sellers. And we're going to wrap this up with additional resources that we're going to add to this. So when we went into this initial presentation, we talked about buyers and sellers resources. They're a great tool that we want to prospect with. And how do we prospect with them? We're just going to grab this call to action, as I call it, or description, download the home buying guides, because this is really about buyers and sellers. The post isn't specific to just buyers or sellers. So now let's go back to my post here. And bear with me for 1 minute while we figure out which one of these guys is my post. So we go to his page. We go to Chris's page. We're going to, you always have to remember to refresh. Okay, so there's our post. These three little dots used to be real helpful if you put in a wrong price or a spelling error. And the cool thing about this, if anybody goes back far enough, when you would post something and even pay to get a bunch of click-throughs and then find that you had a mistake and then you had to delete it, all the transaction, all the great traction you got from it was going to be deleted with it. Now you simply hit delete. And even if this was on 1,000 people's timeline, if we go in to edit this post, what we do now goes across the board on anyone who has this post. So if you had a mistake in a price, telephone number, etc. So if you're planning on selling current home and moving up to a large one, we'll discuss the current situation and all that. Now what I want to do is let's do a little prospecting. Let's get started. Let's get started with your next move. Now, I just created that little, I say call to action. What I recommend that you do, because if you do this process, you're gonna end up with a whole bunch of these little call to action sentences. So create a Word doc, open your Word, call it call to action, and start putting your descriptions that are, or engaging verbiage in there. So you don't have to go looking for it. But now watch the difference from this post now. Originally, we were staying top of mind. We're attracting buyers and sellers with a great post. We've got a click through that takes us to our platform that if they want to learn more about what we represent, they can get buyers and sellers guides. They can review videos. They can go to our website. They can go to, there's a ton of things they can do once they get here. But again, the key thing is I don't care if they go there. I don't want them to go there. Where do I really want them to go? I want them to go download my home buying guide. Why? That's potentially putting money in my pocket. Okay. Does all this make sense? I just want to make sure this is all good stuff. Is that right, everybody? Is this good? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So anyway, each one of these pages represent banners to resources that all make sense. And when we talk about posting and prospecting, you're going to take something that Keeping Current Matters represents in social graphics. That's one of the biggies they do. That's new. Social graphics is an option in your dashboard with Keeping Current Matters. It's unlimited great content to share, guys. They give you the description of the campaign. They give you the campaign. You're 2 clicks away from sharing it. But then what you want to do is not just share it. You want to prospect with it. So when I jumped around a little bit, that's because the difference of posting this campaign with just having the real nice eye attention getter graphic to now saying, okay, the market's hot, buyers and sellers guides, or contact me or go to my website. That's the part of asking for the business or call to action today. So whether it's a video, whether it's an infograph, all of this great stuff is the way that you stay top of mind and ask for the business. So this is just an example of Chris's page. If we go into her page for a quick second, I'm going to give you a great, we're going to have a testimonial up. If you're not using social in your verbiage for your listing pitches, somebody else is, and they're the ones that could be walking away with your business. So social posting is really important and understanding the value of it. So here's an example of, she came to me with a listing that she's had for 3 months in this market, and we talked about it. And basically, she was going to go for a price reduction, which she did get her price reduction. I'm going to pull it up. But she went in there with the idea that we're going to promote on social a standalone property website. Now, I'm looking briefly for where this particular post is. And by doing a standalone property website and talking more on the social side, she was able to, see if I can pull this one up. She was able to get her reduction, and she also got it under contract before the open house last weekend because of the blitz and the coverage. So let me see if this is, all of these are the same idea. We're taking content, we're posting, we're adding call to action, and we're asking for the business. Instead of looking for that one post, anybody have any questions? I went through a lot of material really quickly. Again, the benefit of this being recorded is that you're going to be able to watch it at your own pace. You see how everything's got a similar recipe of the way it's laid out, but there's not one that's the same. They're all different. Does anybody have a question in the audience at this point? No? Okay. Anybody interested in learning more or me looking at their page now and giving suggestions on what you could do to enhance your page?
Yes.
Was that a yes?
So I was just looking at my Facebook page to see if it did what you're saying, how when you go, I thought it was linked to my website, but I'm not sure.
Okay. So if you don't mind, how about we use you as an example real quick for a couple of free tips, okay? The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is give me your name, because realize that people don't know what your business page is called, nor do they know how to look for it. What they're going to look for is you personally. And this part's really important because 99, and I'm going to put it out there, 0.9% of people get this one wrong in their personal world. And what I mean by that is if we look you up in the personal world, where you work, you may have put your company. So what's your name, dear?
Carrie, C-A-R-R-I-E.
B-A, I didn't hear, C? C-A-R,
B-A-R-R-I-E.
okay.
Last name is C-O-L-O-N.
There you are. That might be you. Is this you? Yes.
That's personal, and then the business page is.
Okay. But what I'm trying to show you first, and this is the big one. Look what just happened. Your friends and family that want to sell a home just went to your personal world first because they don't know what your business page is called, nor are they going to try to figure it out. They go to where you work, and here goes your lead. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's summer.
I like it.
Okay?
Thank you, Mother, get up to.
All right. So that's the first thing you want to fix. And that's in the about section. And you want to put the name of your page in there versus where you work. So now let's try and find your page. If you had posts that you shared occasionally, and we're not supposed to post every day on your personal world, there's a 20-80 rule for that. 80% supposed to be personal, 20% business. And if it's the opposite, they'll shut you down. So I'm not saying to share from your business world every day. What I am saying is if you had shared a listing or a picture or something on your personal world, we would be able to find your business page that way. But since that's not the case, let's go back and do a search by page. And when we do this, we get the idea of going to the drop-down menu to pages. So is this going to be your page?
Yeah.
Cool. So we found you, but how many people are going to know to go down to pages in that left tab over there? Is anybody else familiar with those left tabs?
Well, it was the third option in the center too, but.
Yep.
It was
Okay.
personal, and then I realized-
So we have you, and let's talk about this for a minute. So the first thing is, the good thing, you've got this centralized. Very few people have their logo in the center, and the benefit of that, did you know this when you did it, was for basically mobile devices like a cell phone to be able to see that, or is that just the way the banner came up?
I'm familiar with optimizing for mobile devices.
So you did that on purpose, you're saying, right? Is that right? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, so this is good. Now, when we create business pages, if we looked at the library, what was created, it's always the name of your company first, dash, and then your name. And the reason for that is if somebody went in Facebook and did a search for a RE/MAX agent, they're not going to find you without having your RE/MAX in here, dash, and then your name. That gives you cross-referencing for people to be able to find you that way. So my suggestion there is to definitely consider doing that. Even though you want to promote your realtor in your name, you've done a good job with your username though. Great, you get a gold star there. A lot of people have used that, left that empty, or not tried to get that. Do you also own that as your domain? Do you own that realtor, your name?
Like on like GoDaddy, it would be like realtor.com.
I own, not that name.
Okay, so my recommendation for you is to definitely go out to realtor.com for $12.99, and you're going to buy that guy because it goes with your branding. You want to own it. So we go to GoDaddy and we put in whether we have it or not available. You're going to find that for $12.99, maybe add that to your domains and into your social marketing, that you'll be able to send people directly to your website by adding this. So they've got a promotion on it or whatever. .com page, nope. So there it is. Is that you? Nope, realtor.com. Realtor, continue. Realtor is available. Add to cart. So they got some promotional going on that, but it says it's available. So do you understand the benefit of getting that is? It goes with your marketing, okay? So that would be pretty neat to have. And you can't do a username.com because they don't allow you to make that a hyperlink. What they do give you a hyperlink is this. And right now you're using the contact us, which is sort of okay, but it's really not providing a real resource. Where did you go here? You're really trying to give your business away. This link, this link. Okay. So the idea is that you want to fix, and I could walk you through fixing it now, a couple of things, but you want to go in here, and what you're going to do is go into the edit mode on this, where it says edit, contact us. There's a drop-down menu, and you're going to go to the feature that says shop now. And when you click on shop now, it's going to ask you for your URL or your website address, and you're going to place that in the box. And from now on, you're going to have that versus what you just did here, which you definitely want to fix. So what you have here starting, you know, is a good idea because you have the platform. You've done a couple, you know, you got your banner going. The other thing about profile pictures, if you notice in the recipe of everything I've designed is, and it's not just for me, I go to these classes and workshops all over for the last 10 years, but the idea is the difference between the personal pictures in your business page is that faces just run into the same way personal ones do. So you want your business logo in here to come off in your timeline so that when people share these on their personal world, they do stand out as business related. Now, I do see you took a simplifying the market, which again is keeping current matters. That's who we're talking about today. And you have keeping current matters. Congratulations, good stuff. So you have this. So did a lot of the stuff we talk about in my presentation make sense to start utilizing some of this content that way?
Where it automatically feeds into my.
No, not automatic, just the idea of using it and not only posting it, but prospecting and adding your telephone number, your website address, stuff like that to your post. Because you're doing well that you've already have you have the resource here as far as owning it, but you're not providing any of this to anybody in any other way except maybe a specific article versus, as you saw, the ad banners promoted what? Your home buying and selling guides, etc. And in providing the resource, you're providing the organic lead generator for somebody to fill out the form in order to download your personalized. Do you know what I mean by that? Is that clear? So when we go to your platform, right up here in the right-hand corner, this is all about you. This thing right here, this URL address, is the page that you want to send people to. And the easiest way to share this with people is you're going to copy their text they give you as the bottom line. We're just going to say share it. By sharing this to our page, and again, a page we manage, if I were logged in as you now, it would go to my business page. And I'm showing you how simple it is. And you've already set it up. You did a really good job setting up and utilizing the platform. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go from posting to prospecting. Okay. So now if I go to my timeline and I go see your article on, or your, let's see here. Okay, we're going to go to my business page. video just came out for home buying and selling guide. It's pretty exciting. That just got released. So that's another, okay, so here we go. This is your, now how nice does that look? This is all about you. Okay, we could get in there and do an edit and put your phone number to contact me. But when people click on the home buying guide, this is you. If I put in my information right now and you check your phone, this information just came to your phone. And from me as the prospect, I get instantly rewarded with your personalized home buying guide. It isn't like you had to pull over and send an email and put an attachment. And notice it's summer. This just happened like in the last 24, 48 hours. They've had their spring guides up till now. So when I say you don't even have to worry about updating the platform, they do it all for you. And again, the key thing is it's all about you. Okay. And people will share this. This is a great resource that people share. Does that make sense? Is it good stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And let's see what we got here. Let's see where you're sending people. Okay, you ready? Website. Who's this? There's your website. Good job. So this is about you. So you've got people there from Facebook, from your Keeping Current Matters account doing that. You've got your Facebook account set up because you have to in order to set up the account. See, that one worked correctly. That's great. And here you are with simplifying the market. This is really good. I'm glad you spoke up. Now, I will say this, and I might get my foot shot off for this. I hate hashtags. I hate hashtags. The reason being, if anybody in the audience is familiar with a 30-second elevator pitch, raise their hand. They've all been there at those classes. The last thing you would ever put into your 30-second elevator pitch is somebody else's name and services. And that's what we're doing. And this isn't just you're doing, this is KCM. And it's one thing I'm really ticked about, because now we're going to go work with Frank, because I really didn't want to work with you for whatever reason. I wanted another realtor, and you just sent me to Realtor Heaven, where every Tom, Dick, and Harry realtor that's in your area that's posting about KCM stuff is all on that hashtag. So unless you have your own branded hashtag, which I would recommend that you do, I wouldn't list other hashtags, because you're using your 30-second elevator pitch up and wasting it sending somebody to go see more hashtags, luxury market, experts, stay current, stay informed. None of this is putting money. You get one chance at somebody clicking on a link to search all properties or to do something, to call you or to connect with you. You don't want to send them to luxury market where you're not in here. Here's James. I mean, I could go here, forever. And the bigger the hashtag, the less chance you got to be in there for more than 30 seconds.
In Instagram, and then I'm using, and so do they. They kind of set it up where it will operate on Instagram, but Facebook is such a different world, and it operates so differently. Like Instagram, to kind of, if I just use my my sphere,
yep,
it's right. But if I hashtag, then I have all sorts of people who don't follow me interact with my posts.
Yeah, because they follow.
Because they follow the hashtag.
It's hashtag.
Yeah, so you get exposure. But, and what I do as a shortcut is I'll post into Instagram and then share through Facebook. And I see that, I'm kind of realizing now that it's like two separate worlds.
Definitely two separate worlds. That's a really good point. And let me elaborate on that, because you brought up a really good point. Instagram, as you know, you can't set up, well, you can in IGTV, and that's another lesson in its own, the new video format that's come out, that you can actually post videos with text that include hyperlinks. We all know that you can't do any of that stuff on a desktop, and you can with Instagram, with IGTV. When it comes to normal posting though, you can't have any fun. It's all about putting pretty pictures and getting a feeling about what the picture and the emotion's about. and giving some sort of direction. But you can't at this point build in hyperlinks. And yes, the hashtag would help you, but my recommendation is that hashtag be your hashtags. It could be your name buyers, hashtag your name buyers, or hashtag your name sellers. The point is everything that you ever do in hashtag is going to be bringing in a library of your post instead of other people's posts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So really good job. And thank you for speaking up and allowing us to look at your platform and that you have already tried to use the platform. But I want you to think for a minute. Let's look at what we're talking about here. So buying a home is still affordable. From what I just said, and this is great, you could even do it from your phone as an example. Do you have a second? Do you want to do an edit of one of your posts? Because what I'm going to recommend that you do is you go into one of your posts.
Hold on, move a lot closer because I can't see it.
Whether you do it now or you do it later, my recommendation is this one's 6 Reason National Home Buyers Month. That's a big deal. I'm just looking for an easy one that's focused on sales. So this is buying a home. So buying a home is still affordable. I would go in there, hit your edit button, delete your hashtags, and then interrupt them and say, excuse me, coming through. When you interrupt somebody, all right, I'm going to show you what I mean by this. If we interrupt this by going edit, and when I say coming through, interrupt, that's because I want to butt in front of the information that's being provided here and say, contact. I want to put my information first. That's important. And in old school, for those in the audience that remember mail with a stamp below the fold, you want to make sure you're not below the fold with your call to action. So the contact me at and the telephone number going in there is going to be in the upper section. So what I'm recommending that you do is you go into the edit button, and with what we've just talked about, which is what resources do you have to promote with that particular post, the answer is your home buying guide. So think of how much, where it says buying a home is still affordable. Hit the edit button in front of the line and say, get started with a free home buying guide, just released for the summer. You just butted in front of this nice little article that they're going to click on and maybe do some reading and stay top of mind, but you want to create a call to action that creates an organic lead, a closing from a friend or family or one of their friends and family. Is this good stuff, guys? I hope this is making sense because it's working and people are closing homes on it.
Okay, we'll set up some time, if you don't mind.
That's what I'm here for. That's a beautiful thing. And then what we can do, and I'd love to do, is once we get you set up with your banners, utilizing the resources from your website, rebuilding out your platform, anybody who's up for a revisit, we'll cover what we're doing with the new platform and working it. Because once I show you, do you have a listing? I mean, are we okay on time? I'll show you one more. Do you have a listing at all, dear?
No.
Do you have well, your office does. Is there a hot listing? You can always promote somebody else's listing to gain interaction with people, right? If a hot new property went off, I would promote the heck out of it on my side. In the old days, builders would build great tract homes, and I'd promote their properties because people were interested in them, especially.
Go back to my website and my featured listing, there's going to be a listing there for Imperial.
122 Dock Street.
Okay, let me find her website first, and we're going to get to that. Okay, this is your website.
It's featured on the top. Third, yeah.
Is this it?
11 Hopkins Terrace, anybody's? Union Beach, do that one. Yeah.
All right, do this one.
Yeah.
All right, so what you want to do first is we're going to click on it because it's going to create now. What should happen is in this environment, it's going to, this property. See this thing up here? That is your URL address for that specific property.
Yeah.
Now that's really important because what we've just identified, and you can write this verbiage down because this is the old money verbiage. This is now going to give you, when you're on a listing presentation, the verbiage, a standalone property website, because it's separated from your gallery of everything else. It's no big deal. But if we hit view gallery, sometimes we dig in a little bit deeper. Here's the gallery. And the gallery is really clean looking with everything, right? So if I was going to promote this, I can't tell you how many people make the mistake by going to Zillow or Realtor.com and looking up their listing because it's on a public platform to promote it. So you want to go to, already hit click here and down. Now this is a hard stop. That's also something you want to maybe address. I'm not filling this out and I'm going to go search somewhere else. Okay. So find out if that's a hard stop for you.
I can change it.
As far as an option, yeah. People will just say bye-bye. Nobody wants to be forced to fill in anything in order to see information they can get somewhere else. Okay, quick enough. So, all right, so you want to work with that property over what's here? Where did it go? It's probably changed. One of these other properties, any other property? So if we take, what I wanted to show you is if we go into a post and we put in, oh, we don't want that. Goodbye. Okay, it's easy to click on the wrong thing, with the way they got everything rigged up. So let's go to create a post. When we put in that URL address to that specific property, it's already going to generate the marketing that's out there for this specific home. Hello. How long did that take us? 30 seconds? But we're not done with it yet because we want to add some information. We want to make it about us. Even if it's not our listing, you still want people to call you about it, right? So let's go back to, I can't even get in here. So you could see how much fun that isn't. So, what you would do is go into this description part. Let's see if I'm going to jump into another, I won't do it. You want to jump into the description part and you want to add the description for that home, the price, your contact information. So what I just showed you is that, if we can get back to where we were here, sorry. Where were we? I'm going to close some things down here.
I get it,
Yep, you're just going to add that stuff into the description of your site. Okay. All right, so we'll get together. Give me, send me an email. We had flyers handed out today that has my contact information on it. We'll set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting and we'll get you running in another direction that hopefully will have a testimonial on new closed homes. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the audience, or was this useful to everybody? Good. Because this stuff you're not going to get in one place. There's nobody that's going to be able to collaborate all these resources and build out for you the way that we can. And the reason that we do all this stuff outside of earning your business is that on that banner, each one has a banner. So when we go to the banners, there's the banner that's going to represent the loan officer. So in this case, your banner is going to have Chris, and your people on a Friday night eventually you're going to look at a home on Saturday, and you don't want them looking at anything without them being pre-approved and credit pulled and all that fun stuff. So from the banner, there's a direct link that says click here to get pre-approved. And that takes them not to some silly form, but the online application process at a secured website at Advisors to get the ball rolling. Okay? In the old days, we would talk about wasting gas driving them around before they're pre-approved. Today, in a seller's market, you don't have the time with a bidding war not to have all this done in advance. So now you're one click away from having your buyers pre-approved. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for the opportunity to present. Sorry I wasn't there in person. I love being in there in person, but here we go. Okay. Chris, Nick, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bill.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye, everybody. And this recording is available. Just send me an email in a day or two and you can have it. Thanks again.
Thanks.
It's not enough.
So my recommendation would be, if anybody doesn't.
Yeah, Bill, thanks, bud.
page,
Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate it. Miss you, man.
just
Definitely. I'll see you soon.
Do it for you.